Hi, Mark.
Barrie, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thanks. I guess Randy's maybe not staying for the meeting. Joe sent me something not long ago that she couldn't attend, but we have a new member tonight, Abby Velasco, who's a board member. So we'll have a quorum if she comes on.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to call this so far unofficial meeting to order at 7:32 p.m. And I'll do roll call for those who are here. Barrie Johnson, I'm here. Mark Rubin. Mark, are you here?
I've got a jet flying over me. I can't hear a thing. I'm here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I heard it too. Thank you, Mark. Joe Perry is excused. She let me know about an hour ago. Randy is not here. And Peggy Velasco, who's a board member and new, joining this committee at her request this month, hasn't come on yet. So I'm going to proceed unofficially for now. We will come back to number 2 if we can for approving the minutes. Number 3, the update by the committee chair. I can tell you that the motions from this committee in August and September, the August motions were not voted on at the August board meeting. And we have Richard Niederberg. Hi, Richard. We're just proceeding unofficially right now. We're waiting for one more board member to possibly have a quorum. And I'm on number 3. So at the August board meeting, we tabled the Transportation Committee motions because the meeting was running really long, and they are to go on the next board meeting, which we thought might be September, but September turned out to be a holiday. So I'm thinking they're going to be on the October board agenda. And when this has happened in the past, Randy's always put us like at the top of the agenda. So there's going to be 3 or 4 transportation motions, and also like 5 or 6 GAC motions. So hopefully we'll be first. So that's my update on our motions that are pending before the board and hopefully happening at the 3rd Thursday in October meeting at 7 p.m. Number 4, do we have any public comments from non-agenda items from Scott or Richard? Okay, hearing none, we'd have no responses to those public comments. And I'm going to go on to number 6, and I'll read it, and I'll just say if we do not have a quorum, I'll get Randy to bring this motion. If we want to go ahead with it, he can bring it, and I'll find somebody to second it. We have done that before. So this motion says, the Board of the Studio City Neighborhood Council, SCNC, supports Council File 21-0956 to ascertain the current process for towing oversized vehicles in violation of posted signs which are blocking travel lanes, thereby creating hazardous conditions. And to be frank, this motion, I think, is, the vehicles they're talking about are mobile homes that people are parking, and living in. But, they can't park where it's illegal to park, in my view. And it does create a hazardous condition. And I think the city council's coming up with this motion in large part because there's a double-edged sword here. It's the fact that they are breaking the law in parking where there's signage saying they can't. But on the other side of this, a federal judge has said you can't make people move, I think, even that are in a mobile home, and it's unclear whether they can be made to move under that federal judge ruling because they are living, that is their home. So I think the city council with this motion is trying to clarify some things such that vehicles like this, or any large vehicle, that there is signage saying, you're familiar with the signs that say no parking vehicles over 22 feet or higher than 6 feet. They just want some teeth to be able to tow and collect the fine theoretically. So any questions from or comments from our members of the public, Richard or Scott? Okay, anything from you? Go ahead, Richard.
You might just be kicking the can down the road on this one because they'll just block somebody else's neighborhood. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sort of taking this from the fact that there are busy streets that this happens on where at certain times of the day, the parking lane, like during rush hour, say 3 to 7 or 4 to 7, it's like no parking anytime. So this is not legal, and this is not a time when you would want to block that street, and you'd want the teeth of the parking enforcement on these extra large vehicles.
So your primary concern is not parking people in front of people's houses then. You're talking mostly on main streets, not residential streets. What was your intention?
I don't believe this motion, I don't think has called out specifically people living in motorhomes. I think it's generic in nature for just oversized vehicles parking, being able to be towed if they're parking in a no parking area at a given time.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, Scott. And
Thanks.
by the way, I was acknowledged that Abby has joined us at 7:38, and she is our new committee member. Thanks, Abby.
My pleasure.
Go ahead, Scott.
So it's my understanding that the city now only has one company that is capable of towing oversized vehicles. I believe the lot is out in Castaic. And one of the problems they're encountering is some of these motorhomes or dilapidated vehicles, they can't put on these tow trucks, these big giant tow trucks, because the towed vehicle starts to disintegrate at speed when it's on the highway. But it does sound like they're trying to lay the groundwork sort of similar to the 4118, where they're not gonna do this citywide, but there certainly are worse places than others where these vehicles park, where there is a obvious safety hazard. And because the 4118 prohibited areas does not cover people living in the motorhomes or large vehicles, it sounds like they're just trying to lay the groundwork for when they do possibly get the green light to start towing vehicles that are inhabited once the COVID's under control. They can start clearing out the ones that are obvious safety issues and are not roadworthy, which is another aspect of this, because again, my understanding is it's the highway patrol that has to come out, inspect the vehicle and declare it not roadworthy, and then they would tow it. And then lastly, the other issue that's sort of driving this is the waste, because a lot of these vehicles, there is no waste service that comes to empty their black water tanks. The city is trying to get that done, not to encourage people to live there, but to encourage people not to drop the black water in the street. So, I mean, I think this is good. I'd like to see what comes back from the city attorney, Department of Transportation, and all the other entities involved, but they got to start somewhere. Thanks.
Yes, I think you're right. And so many of these things, you really have to say you got to start somewhere. And this is definitely another one. Abby, we're on number 6. And you probably saw the motion that my proposed motion that I sent out. So, I mean, this is sort of a motion. The city's just trying to look at a problem of motorhomes and other large vehicles that are parked in places where it says no parking at a given time. This maybe doesn't address motorhomes that are parked legally on streets, but we definitely have a lot of those too. But as Scott was saying, it's a start. So did you want to make any comment on this one?
No, just to piggyback right on what it was being already said and discussed, that it's also my understanding that these oversized vehicles that are parked on our street or those streets that where it's prohibited, it's also probably this oversized vehicles. It's a safety, it could be a safety hazard because some of the streets are very small or they don't have enough lighting. As well, could be no sidewalks, and it could be very dangerous at night because people are going to have a difficulty especially coming out of their driveway when there's no lighting and coming in, and then the traffic. Then some of the streets go really, really fast as well. It could also cause some accidents for pedestrians, people that love to walk and take their pets out, young children in the daytime. So they just large vehicles do take a lot of space. So if that's my 2 cents.
Okay, yeah, and I mean, this is definitely a start,
Mhm,
And
it is,
by the
absolutely.
way, on a sub note here, I heard today that the parking lot, the metro parking lot on Ventura, is going to be cleaned out, quote unquote, cleaned out tomorrow. I don't know what that means, but I know you've been following that, and I'm sure both of us will be watching to see if something happens there tomorrow. Have you heard anything?
I haven't, and I'm gonna be on the lookout. So
Yeah,
tomorrow,
me too.
okay, metro side, okay, making a note.
But
and-
they've done clean outs before that have they picked up all the trash, and the tents have sort of reorganized, and it looks better for a couple days, and then it goes back to how it looks. So I don't know if this means getting everyone out or not. But I did notice on Moore Park under the 101, that's been cleared out,
Yes,
which
yes.
surprised me.
And it's clean so far. At least last time I passed by, it's still clean.
Yeah.
So it's like you said, it's a start, and we just have to continue.
Yeah. All right.
Question.
Thanks. Mark, go ahead.
Yes, I'm strong. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can now.
Okay, I'm having a lot of difficulties. I strongly support this motion, and if we do have a quorum now, I second it.
Thank you, Mark. And we do have a quorum now. So seconded by Mark. Anything else, Mark?
No, thank you.
Okay. Go ahead, Richard.
Yeah, I'm concerned with members of 399 and others who are parking their box trucks at night, and in the morning, by 6 o'clock in the morning, they're going to wherever they have to go to the studios. And did not want to get any kind of bad reaction from the motion picture industry. Now that it's on strike, who knows? But I still don't like the idea. A lot of these guys, they can't get the stuff in the driveway, so they park their box truck, normally 14 feet or less, but they park on the actual box, but they park on the street basically because they can't park it anywhere else, so they get up in the morning and they drive it away. I really would not want to discourage motion picture people, having to put somewhere their shiny new truck than walking to it or whatever in the morning.
Is this on a residential street?
Yeah, a lot of people basically, Teamsters, they may live in an apartment building, they may live in a house, who knows where they're gonna live,
Oh, okay.
but they park right in front. It was a car or a van, a regular, pickup truck, no problem. An F-550, not a problem. It's when they have the box trucks that have the problem.
Because I have a remedy for you on this, because I have had this on my street. It is actually illegal to park a commercial vehicle, which is like you are describing, or even a regular pickup or a regular van, if it's got commercial signage on it. It's illegal to park on a street in a residential neighborhood from 9 p.m. until I think it's either 6 or 7 a.m. And if you call Valley Parking Enforcement at like 9:01, don't call before 9 p.m. 9:01. Tell them you're reporting an illegally parked commercial vehicle on a residential street after 9 p.m. They will come out and ticket, and they have done so in my neighborhood. and it's put a stop to those vehicles. At the house I'm talking about, they now park that commercial vehicle in their driveway, which is legal, but I just don't want it on the street in a residential neighborhood. I feel strongly about that. So you can do
I'm
the
just
same,
looking at
Richard.
basically what time is actually thing, because since the industry often starts at 6 o'clock on the set, you can't get them in the morning, and at night with their 14-hour work days they're complaining about, they get home pretty late.
But parking enforcement works 24/7. They will come. I guarantee you, they will be out between 9 and midnight to check it out and ticket it if it's there.
Okay.
So I don't have the number right in front of me, but if you Google Los Angeles or just Valley parking enforcement, or you can also get them through 311, and just you're going to be reporting. I think the choice will be parking violation. It'll be LADOT. You'll press a button for LADOT, and then you'll be asked again, and you want parking enforcement, and then somebody will come on and take your information.
Okay, I just didn't want to sound like anti-entertainment industry. That's all.
Yeah. Okay, well, so I'll read this motion one more time. The Board of the Studio City Neighborhood Council, SCNC, supports Council File 21-0956 to ascertain the current process for towing oversized vehicles in violation of posted signs which are blocking travel lanes, thereby creating hazardous conditions. And we will submit this also as a community impact statement. And I have a second from Mark. So did anybody else have anything more on this before we vote? Richard, I see your hand up, but maybe it's just still up.
Made a mistake. I'm just concerned if it's not posted. Yes, it's the law. I'm wondering if it's going to be actually posted, no parking, when a lot of residential streets are not that way, except for street cleaning. I don't know.
Yeah,
Because your motion says
street cleaning would apply to these oversized vehicles as well.
A lot of times there's no signs that say no parking overnight or no parking at all. There won't be a sign at all. So
right. Well, if it doesn't, then they can legally park there.
Okay.
If there's no signs, but this is for places that have various signs, in a 24-hour period. So it's not just limited to night. It could be any, like I was saying before, it could be 3 to 7 rush hour on Laurel Canyon, if they're parking. So this council file is aimed at remedying the process to take care of these oversized vehicles that they've been timid on ticketing lately due to like the federal judge rulings on leaving the homeless alone. So even though this council file doesn't really specifically mention the homeless, I think it's really geared towards their large vehicles. So, there's still places to park. We just don't, our thing as Transportation Committee, we just don't want them parking illegally where they're blocking travel lanes, creating bad hazardous conditions, where it says no parking. So that's where we're coming from.
I assume you also mean no stopping zones also, not just no parking.
Yeah.
So,
And I'm saying all this just because when this goes before the board, the people that are on the homeless committee, I don't want them to think this is an anti-homeless motion. It's about traffic safety, really, more than anything. And there's still plenty of places to park, so legally. So, all right, if there aren't any further comments, we will vote and go ahead and either say or raise your hand yes, or raise your hand yes. I'm a yes. Abby?
Yes, I was trying to raise my hand.
Okay, I gotcha. Mark?
Yes,
Okay, so it's unanimous. Thank you so much. And I'll go on to number 7. Stand by. Update on the progress of the remaining board pass preferential parking district applications. As you know, we have like 4 more in various areas that have been on hold since COVID. One of them is Mark's neighborhood. Today I actually tried to reach Felix, but I don't even know if he's even there anymore. And I tried to get somebody else, and I was like on hold forever. So, Mark, I don't know if you want to say anything on this, but I'm definitely now I'm going to see who's taken Felix's place because I don't think he's there anymore. Have you heard anything, Mark?
no, I have not heard anything, Barry.
Okay. And for your reference, Abby, the SCNC probably over the last 4 years has voted to support various preferential parking districts south of Ventura. You've probably seen some of them, perhaps up in the hills. There's one on Fruitland between Vineland and Fruitland and Ventura, going west from Vineland. And some of them we got installed before COVID hits. Others are still pending or being added on to existing preferential parking districts that haven't been done due to COVID because they said their staffing, they didn't have their staffing and they had a lot of people sick, and I don't think anybody's died, but they've left and not come back to work. So we're sort of on hold for that. So just background on that. Anybody want to say anything on any more on preferential parking?
Yes.
Yeah.
On Fryman, across from the Willacre Park, there's all kinds of motion picture production there, which of course goes beyond. It's also, of course, a what do you call that? Permit parking. What I'm saying is, effectively, with all the stuff we shot there, most of the days that they are shooting, of course, the permit thing is ignored. It's not required.
Is there a TV series being filmed there? Because that's usually when they keep coming, the same ones keep coming back week after week.
I have not seen a series, but then again, I really haven't asked. I just have to patiently wait to get past that house in order to get out of the Laurelwood neighborhood. So I don't think there's anything there today or even last week, but it used to be like it was like every day.
Okay. Well, if you see any more everyday stuff and can find out if it's a TV series and which one it is, let me know.
Well,
because we can request relief from
Film LA. A lot of times they're taking too much parking. I will call Film LA and says, how many feet did you buy? Did you buy 800 feet of curb? Did you buy 2,000 feet of curb? And I've caught a few of them parking, taking too much space. They bought 800 and they put in 2,000 or more. And so that's my contact with Film LA, which is, I would say, probably once every 2 weeks.
And theoretically, they're only supposed to be parking on one side of any given street. And I have found sometimes when they're not, and I've called it in and they've corrected it. So
yeah, well, when if I can get them to come out, basically, the problem's often solved by the people from Film LA, but they don't always come out. But they have more important
Yeah.
things to do. Anyway.
Okay. Anyone else, number 7? Okay, I will move on to number 8, update on the progress of the new traffic signal installations at Ventura and Barrie and Ventura Boulevard and Rhodes. So I've got update from Steve Rostam. He's LADOT's East Valley person, and he's telling me the signal for Barrie and Ventura will probably be turned on sometime in mid to late November. So that's good news. I hope they get working on it because I haven't seen any actual signals yet. But you know, we've only been working on this for like 5 or 6 years, but you know, the city moves slow. The Rhodes and Ventura one is actually a smart crosswalk, which has blinking lights and lights showing down on the actual crosswalk. He said that one is also contracted to be built, but it won't be until sometime next year. So it's in the 2021-22 fiscal year, which is we're in now until June 30th. So I think when he's saying next year, it should be put in between January 1st and June 30th of 22. So we'll keep watching that, but at least we've gotten more of a firm date for the Barrie and Ventura Drive signal. So we'll see with that. Anybody on this want to speak? Mark, that's your intersection. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just curious how Steve Rostam plans to turn on a traffic signal that doesn't exist, but maybe they've got some technology I don't know about.
Yeah, I know. The thing is, if he's saying mid to late November, if they get started like in the next week, they still could meet that the next week or two. But, you know, I keep looking, and I know you do, and there just hasn't been any activity. Is it true they've been putting in the sloped sidewalk corner ramps?
I have not noticed it.
Yeah, I'm going to have to look more closely. Somebody told me they thought they saw that, but and that would go in with these signals, but I've not seen anything other than the little trench that they put in for the wiring, but nothing more. So we'll have to keep an eye on this.
When we see the bolts coming out of the concrete, you know they're doing something.
That's right, because there won't be any poles there until that's there. So, okay, I will move on to number 9, comments from committee members on subject matter within the committee's jurisdiction. Does anybody have anything they want to bring up at this time?
Barrie?
Go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to update, although both you and Richard were on the email chain, remind you that issue at the illegal sign somebody had put on the stop sign at the intersection of Doña Pagita and Doña Lisa, you were on the email chain. Tiffany Zaturian, I can't remember her name, but she was with the council office and took charge of this in the absence of us having a assigned field deputy. I don't know if there's been any progress about replacing Jessica, but anyway, this Tiffany person was just great about this. She got immediate results about it, like within a week. And in fact, so that was all in the email that you and Richard were on. But in fact, the sign was removed very shortly after that. So she really got some results done. Incidentally, though, none of this has changed both before and after that sign, the illegal sign went up. There's still the legal sign, the no right turn sign during rush hour, I believe the evening rush hour there, which was done due to the entire traffic plan that we worked so long on. I've stood at that intersection and taken video, and every single car that comes by illegally turns right there. So, but as I said, they did that with the illegal sign on it, and they did it after the illegal sign was removed. So,
what did the illegal sign say?
the illegal sign said "photo enforced," and it was it was a very official looking sign. I believe it was an official sign. It was made of metal and looked completely normal. But if you remember, I brought this up at the last committee meeting and questioned whether there was any, photo cameras, and was told no. And as I said, I called and asked for the replacement field deputy. There was none. Tiffany said she would look into it, and she got back to me very quickly within a day or two and said she talked to LADOT, and they said nope, that was not their sign. That had nothing to do with them. And as I said, it was less than a week it was removed.
How about that? That was quick.
Yeah, and she even in her last email, she apologized for taking so long for it to happen. And I responded just saying, thank you very much. I didn't say, given the history of things. So in my mind, if she was willing to take this on, again, I have no information about whether they're going to backfill Jessica's position, but as much as I like Jessica and as much as I dislike Jessica's predecessor, the results we got, at least in this instance, without having a field deputy, were head and shoulders above anything we ever got before.
Yeah. Can you, since you have an email relationship with Tiffany, can you email her and just say, it's great that sign was removed, but can we get some Valley traffic enforcement there? Because Jessica used to do this. In fact, she even did it for a time when we first had some of these signs in place. But since she seems to act quickly, she can make a request to Valley traffic enforcement to get some motorcycle cops there, and you can tell her it's the afternoon for this one, but people are clearly ignoring these signs, and I think she'd probably get some action from Valley traffic enforcement. You want to try that?
I'll try to send her an email.
Okay, thanks. All right,
Question.
Anybody else?
I do.
Yeah.
I have a question. So is Tiffany filling up Jessica's deputy seat?
Well, I've heard nobody is officially filling in for her. It's kind of whoever's in the office that takes a call, or there's probably a location where emails from Studio City are going. They may be checking Jessica's old email. I don't know, but it seems to be, you seem to get a response from different people in the office.
Oh, I see. So we don't
And
know.
I've actually heard that from one of the people in the office. It's just kind of like, yeah, it hasn't been filled, and whoever can answer something is doing it. But so far, the ones that have been doing stuff seem to have been doing stuff faster than any of the last 3 Studio City deputies I recall. So that's kind of nice.
It is nice.
Yes.
Thank you.
Richard?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just wondering basically the corollary thing to the Donna Lisa thing. Last time I checked, there was no effective striping in front of the fire station. And people are coming by, and one of these days a fire truck will wipe somebody else out, or the other way around, because it's very close to there. It's a blind curve. dirt on one side of the street, fire department on the other side of the street, next to an R40 lot. And I'm concerned maybe part of the request also basically is just to put the striping in front of the fire station, like many fire stations have. It's very close to that.
Okay, thanks. Mark?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to clarify and respond to Abby and agree with what has been said is when I called the Valley office on this issue, and I specifically asked for Jessica's replacement, and I was told that there was no replacement for her. And I said, actually, I don't think I said anything past that. And this Tiffany woman who answered the phone specifically said, we're all handling this kind of on an ad hoc basis. And after that, she listened very carefully to my concern, and as I said, followed up on it.
Well, that's good to hear, at least for the time being.
Thank you, Mark, for the clarification.
So anybody else on number 9? Okay, and Mark, okay, thank you. And Richard, you just didn't lower your hand? Okay. I'll go on to number 10, closing comments by the committee chair. I just was going to say our next meeting for November will be Wednesday, November 3rd at 7:30 p.m. And did anyone have anything additionally to say on number 10? Okay. All right. I'll make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
I second it.
Second by Mark. Okay. All right. So all of our motions should be at the board meeting 3rd Wednesday in October coming up. So two weeks from tonight at 7. So hopefully everyone can make it. Well, I know many of you will because you're board members. So, and I'll be there, and maybe Mark will be there. So thank you, and see you next month or at the board meeting in 2 weeks. Thanks. All right, bye.
Bye. Have a great night.